movies. To my left, our co-host of this show, Antonio Ferme.
Hey guys, how's it going? I'm sorry we had no show from last week. We filmed it, we edited it, we couldn't get it up.
It just didn't
Technical difficulties.
Yeah, we'll leave it at that.
It happens, yeah.
And our other co-host is Greg Black.
Hey, how's it going?
So we'll jump right into today's movie-gasms, and the first one is box office. So this weekend at the box office, Zootopia hit it off with the critics, and we liked it ourselves, and we'll get into that in a little bit. It impressed the critics and the fans as it knocked off Deadpool as its top box office movie with a $73.7 million opening weekend domestically and $232.5 million worldwide, which is a record for a Walt Disney animated feature. The biggest non-summer animated opening, the 9th biggest animated debut of all time, and the 3rd biggest opening ever for a wholly original motion picture.
That's big.
In second place, the sequel to Olympus Has Fallen, London Has Fallen, opened with $21.7 million, and we'll get into that a little bit, but opening on an estimated $60 million budget in its fourth weekend in theaters, Deadpool fell to 3rd place with $16.4 million, bringing its domestic total to a staggering $311.2 million, still great nonetheless, despite the fact that it dropped, which is expected. The Tina Fey comedy Whiskey Tango Foxtrot, meanwhile, debuted in 4th with an estimated $7.6 million. The film cost a reported $35 million to produce. Coming in at last is Gods of Egypt, making a flopping $5 million. So, with all that being said, let's start at the top of Zootopia. We saw it in theaters. What do you think, Tony?
We did see it. It was on our Twitter, if you guys saw that. We saw it opening night. I was very impressed. It's sitting at 98% on Rotten Tomatoes right now. It was at 100 for a while, and then there was like 1 or 2 negative reviews. But I think overall it's a good film. Definitely doesn't deserve 100%. I thought it was a very good film. It's not Pixar-esque, not picture-esque. Pixar-esque. It's not like a Pixar film where it's like perfect in those manners and stuff like that. But I think it was just overall still a really good film. How'd you like it?
Well, it clearly hit it off at the
Yes, it did, obviously.
I wouldn't view it as an 100% approval rating, but nonetheless, it was a really good movie. And if you're maybe a 7 or 8 year old viewer, I mean, that's not a shot against Zootopia or anything like that. But if you're a 7 or 8 year old viewer, I would have loved it.
Shots fired.
That's my type of movie.
It doesn't,
if I'm 7 or 8
seem
years
like
old.
a movie like you have to be a kid.
No, it's not a Pixar movie. That's what
like,
that's what I was saying.
And even with Pixar movies like Up,
but it had a good.
You don't have to.
It had a great theme.
Which was
for some reason or another, I was against the protagonist of the movie, which was that female cop, the bunny, the whole entire movie.
Against it.
I really hated her. For some reason or another, I didn't like her.
You hated it.
Well, just moving off that topic, Zootopia did great, guys.
Yeah,
So that's what happened. Moving along, London Has Fallen. I personally saw London Has Fallen in theaters. London Has Fallen didn't get a great reception with Rotten Tomatoes, 28%. But I think the reason it went off that way, I didn't have any problem with visual effects or the movie as a whole. I actually enjoyed it. I thought it was action-packed. It played to its standard. But the whole realistic aspect of it, having basically everything fall into place for a terrorist attack that basically had millions of terrorist soldiers in the same place to take down 5 world leaders in a funeral that was planned in 2 days. So they tried to make it look realistic, but it was not. And that's why I think it got 28%. But overall, I can see why it came in at number 2, because it was appealing. London Has Fallen, that's an appealing name, and a lot of people are going to want to see a movie like that.
And Deadpool still stuck up too with Zootopia and London Has Fallen and the other movies that came out and stuff like that.
I'm impressed. Deadpool's still up there.
Yeah, with movies such as Olympus and like London Has Fallen, it doesn't need to be realistic to work. It has to be engaging and enjoyable.
And obviously,
like of course, that plan is far fetched, but like as far as plots go, when they're far fetched, sometimes it can be annoying. But when things happen, like I'm gonna reference Star Wars, when like Jar Jar Binks would just like. He'd just be completely goofing around and end up like doing something great. Like that kind of far-fetched, non-believable. Sorry.
The amount of money it made, London Has Fallen, it had to do with the appealing aspect. My eyes were peeled for that whole movie. And then, of course, you have Whiskey Tango Foxtrot and Gods of Egypt coming in last.
Gods of Egypt is a flop.
Neither of those.
That's just that typical CGI, like, action-packed flop. And also, that's not on there. Eddie the Eagle also still. It really didn't hit with the box office. It's really not. And I really like that movie. But yeah, that's all I gotta say. That's it.
Yeah. Right. Topic number 2 on slate for today. After the Marvel Sony debacle, you would think that Sony would move on and learn from their mistakes. Apparently, they're doing the complete opposite. Yeah. As it has been reported that Sony is still making a Venom spin-off movie. The movie is separate from Spider-Man solo movies in the entirety of the MCU. Also in big Spider-Man news, Zendaya has been cast in the upcoming Spider-Man movie as Michelle. A love interest for Peter Parker. Marvel has said that the Spider-Man film is going to be very non-white. What do you guys think from this?
Alright, so let's talk about the Venom movie first. What the heck? You learn from your mistakes. You have a great deal with Marvel going. What are you doing? Put him in the Spider-Man movie. Don't make a separate film. I understand you want to make more money off the Spider-Man franchise without working with Marvel, and now you're gonna make this whole separate It's just gonna be it's set up to flop. What do you think?
I mean, Venom, from a comic book standpoint, is a great character.
Yes,
there's so much you can do with him. I'm forgetting the name, but like in the comics, he has a son, and I'm fairly sure like a grandson, like quote unquote. So and Venom's just an awesome character too. So he would be a huge addition to the Marvel universe.
Yes,
like
parallel to Spider-Man.
Yeah, like he could bring in money wherever they use him, but having him on his own in a separate, non-aligned movie.
And that's not even a Carnage either.
Yeah,
I can see a Venom Carnage thing.
Yeah.
But think about this, not going to be Spider-Man. They can't use it's literally going to be just Venom.
Yeah.
And I don't understand.
I don't know how that's going to work either.
I see what they're trying to do. They're like, we're working with Marvel. We have an animated film that they're making that's probably going to end up being home video. You know, that's definitely not going to theaters. So they're trying to do all these different things. And yeah, I was pretty, my jaw literally dropped when I saw that because I didn't think that they would actually do that. And then I also jaw dropped. I was sitting in chem class and I pulled out my phone. Zendaya hasn't been cast in the upcoming Spider-Man movie. And I wanted to throw all my lab equipment. Zendaya, who starred in the Disney show, is being Michelle, who is codenamed for Mary Jane, a love interest of Spider-Man. I mean, there was a Michelle, I forgot her last name, in the comics, who Spider-Man's, or Peter Parker's doormate in college and was a love interest for a very short time. Maybe they want to introduce that because they're trying to be unique, and she's obviously black, and they're saying they want to keep it diverse.
Keep it PC.
Yeah.
I mean, if she's Michelle, great, I don't care. If she is Mary Jane, I am in full support of giving black actors and black or minority individuals bigger roles in movies.
Of course,
but when you replace existing characters with either like the opposite gender or a different race, like I tend to get a little iffy. Like the new James Bond after Daniel Craig, they're talking about making it a black actor.
Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah, and great actor, absolutely love him.
Yeah.
But I don't know, if it's a good idea to change the character completely.
Stan Lee says it all the time. He creates these characters, and then Marvel goes and replaces them. And then, he said about Fantastic Four specifically, he's like, yeah, Human Torch is a great character, but why'd you make him black? There's no if you want a black character, I don't care about
Star Wars. Finn, it worked perfectly.
Yeah, it worked perfectly. It's great to have him in. Same with gays and lesbians.
Stuff like that.
They're thinking about making Luke gay. No, Luke was never gay. He kissed Leia.
Which I mean, it's incest. It's not right, but they didn't know at the time.
They didn't know, so it's okay.
I guess it's okay.
But they can't make someone gay or they can't make someone black. They can't bring in a character let's say they've introduced Bruce Banner and they made him Asian like the comics. That's not okay. If you want an Asian character, make an Asian character. Don't switch the gender.
Don't change a character. Make a new one entirely.
Yes, make a new one entirely. But otherwise, and also just even the actress herself you said that she's improved since.
I'd assume she's improved since.
I don't think I've seen.
I don't think they'd cast her in this role if she was not prepared.
Yeah, obviously. I trust Marvel.
Yeah.
I trust Marvel, but I
don't know
still
if I
get
trust
mad over
Sony,
these
but
things.
I trust
Yeah,
Marvel.
I really don't trust Sony, even with the Venom news, which is literally like Sony needs to get out of there. They don't know what they're doing. Speaking of what Sony doesn't know what they're doing, next topic.
Top number 3 of 4 on this week's Weekly Hutt. Well, this week we got our first trailer for the upcoming Ghostbusters reboot movie, or at this point a sequel.
I don't have enough arms.
It was definitely a huge disappointment, especially since we were supposed to get a new Captain America Civil War trailer. Instead, featuring Peter Parker, shots of Wakanda, and much more awesome stuff. What do you guys think of this news?
Oh God, that trailer was awful. I mean, I don't know what they were going. I personally didn't care much for the fact that there was a Ghostbusters reboot. I liked the first Ghostbusters; it was great.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the trend in Hollywood is sequels and reboots, and I mean, the trailer was just awful.
It bad.
It didn't trigger any nostalgia. Like, oh, like I remember that from the previous movie, and like, oh, now I really want to go see this.
There's apparently supposed to be a reboot. This is literally a sequel. They say 30 years later.
Yeah, it's not.
And it looks very cheesy. It looks it looks like they're overacting.
Yeah, it looks like the producers tried too hard.
How many more things is Sony gonna ruin? They ruined Spider-Man with the Amazing Spider-Man 2. They're gonna ruin Ghostbusters, and now the only two good properties that they have, Men in Black and 21st Jump Street, they're doing a crossover. They confirmed that.
They're doing it.
They're actually doing that.
I didn't know that.
23 Jump Street and Men in Black are crossing over, and I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. So it's going to be 23 Jump Street with aliens.
That's pretty.
Because Will Smith is not going to come back.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming.
I mean, why would he?
Yeah.
That would be pretty cool.
It'd be cool.
I don't know how I feel about that. I'm excited, but like I feel like
I'm just saying, Sony. I really don't. I feel like a dislike against them, and pretty much anything that has Sony's name on it, I feel a little cringe on my vertebrae. Anyways.
Well, turning the page, in our final movie hut, we find out that there will be no Green Lantern in the first Justice League movie, according to Warner Brothers, and we will have to wait to see at least part 2 to see him in the movie. And with that, what do you guys...
Well, I mean, they're obviously spacing them out to give distance between the Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern.
That's all. Yeah. Yes.
So, I mean, it's been enough time already, I think.
I think so.
For people to move on and understand, like,
they're only waiting 3 years between Amazing Spider-Man 2 and the Spider-Man reboot.
Yeah, I mean, so like people won't forget about it, but they'll be able to move past.
And also, he redeemed himself with Deadpool. They noticed that was a bad movie, and they continued forward, and people know that this is a golden age of comic movies.
And with Green Lantern, who plays such a huge role in the formation of the Justice League,
it's surprising.
It's surprising that they do the whole first movie without him. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess they're gonna explain it. Oh, he's up in space doing Green Lantern stuff.
That might be
maybe he's not even Green Lantern.
Maybe they don't want to go to space. Maybe the first part is like on Earth, and then like at the end of part 1, like as we saw in the Batman vs Superman pictures, you saw the Omega symbol.
Yeah.
One of the Flash's midnight scenes, not Batman's, the Flash's apparently, and maybe at the end of part 1 we see Darkseid come in, and then in part 2 they go to space, and then they meet up with Green Lantern, and then like they team or something along that line.
I think another reason they could be not putting is that the Justice League is a very strong group. So and Green Lantern is like a huge member. He's powerful.
Yes.
They might not want to put him in, so they could use, let's say, like a lesser villain for the first Justice League, so they can only build from there.
Yeah.
You know, like not start off with.
When they say part 1 and 2, is that?
I think there's gonna be 2 different villains.
So you think
lead
it's
up
a different
villain
story?
and
You think they're just trying to say Justice League 1 and Justice League 2 is a different way?
Like whereas Infinity War Part 1 and 2
is
going to be like you could watch them back.
And also what we theorized earlier, we think that another reason why they are doing this is because they're creating a Green Lantern TV show
because they have
the Flare universe.
I
know. You know what? It's our YouTube channel. We're going to talk about TV for a minute. They have mentioned. Stephen Amell's mentioned that they're working on a new show besides Flash, Arrow, Legend of Tomorrow, Supergirl. Well, Supergirl kind of. Yeah, he mentioned it and he said we're going to really like it. So it's not going to be like they're working on like Powerless or something. I don't care. Yeah. So they've also hinted at him heavily. We've seen the Hal Jordan. We've been to Coast City. I mean, they've hinted at it so many times.
Yeah, and I mean, you look at Flash and Legends, 2 shows heavy on CGI, and they've shown that, well, it doesn't look movie quality, of course, or realistic. They've shown they can do it and make it look believable. And I mean, that's the biggest problem that you'd have with Green Arrow. So they could, I would love to see a Green Lantern.
That'd be great. Yeah, that'd be a great way.
Show.
They introduce him back on TV, gain it up on TV, and then they put him in the movie, because if they're ever going to introduce him on TV, they waited a while. The Flash TV show came out in 2014. They're introducing him in Batman vs Superman in 2016. Yeah. They're going to introduce him now in 2016, 2017, and then we'll see him in 2019, 2020. Because that's why he's not in Batman vs Superman. That's why he's not in Justice League, I think, because they're going to introduce him in the next year or so. And then by the time we get to the movie, it's already gonna be the Flash, where he's already established and stuff like that.
Yeah.
All right, so that's gonna do it for our 3rd Weekly Hutt. Thanks for the insight today, guys. Like, subscribe, comment below. We appreciate all the support on our 2nd video, which clips 1,000 views. So continue to give us all that support. Be sure to subscribe and spread the word. Our social media handles are below. So until next time, for Greg Black and Antonio Ferme, I'm Emmanuel Berbari. That's it. See you next time, guys.
See you around.